Welcome to Python Pro, a 30-day workshop by CTC. And today on day 3, we'll be diving into lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. So before moving on to the problems, let us have a quick overview on each of the data types. List, as we know, it is an ordered collection of items, and all this data are mutable, which means those data can be changed even after declaring them. So to declare a list, we'll be using the square brackets. And list can store heterogeneous data, which means list can have a list itself inside it, or it can have other data types like integer, float, string, etc. So here's a quick example that I have given. The fruits list that contains a list of fruits, and to access each, we'll be addressing their indexes. Index starts from 0, and to say if I want to display the element cherry, I'll be giving fruits of 2, and we'll be getting the out. We'll be looking on it in a short while. So moving on to tuples. Tuples are very similar to lists, but the only difference is they are immutable, which means they cannot be changed after declaration. So to declare a tuple, we'll be using the parenthesis. And here's a quick example for that. I have given a tuple containing the colors, and as similar to the list, we'll be addressing each element via its index. So to refer green, I have given its index as 1. Moving on to the difference between list and tuple. Comparing list and tuple, list is mutable and tuple is immutable. The declaration part differs, and the most important case is that when we use list is depends on the data. If the data has to be changed while you perform some operations on it, it is better to use list. If you want to have that data stored throughout your problem without changing, then it is better to save it as a tuple. And common operations here are append, extend, insert. And as you know, tuple is immutable and there is no modification. You can only iterate through it. Iterate as in you move through each element. So here are quick examples and how it responds when the data is trying to be modified. Moving on to set, we have the set's definition. Say set is an unordered collection of unique items. So if you want to avoid duplicates, you can use this data type as set, because set does not accept duplicates. It removes by itself. Moving on to set, we have set is an unordered collection of unique items, and sets do not allow duplicate elements. This is very perfect when you don't want you don't want any recurring elements. Say you want only the distinct unique elements. So to declare a set, we'll be using the flower braces, and you can just give your elements into it. Here's a small example. Say I have made a set called numbers and it contains 1 to 5. And to add an element, I'm using the add function, which adds the element into the set. Since it is not a duplicate, it is visible in the set. So there are a few set operations that we perform similar to the set which we learned in math. We have the union, intersection, difference, the subset, superset, and how we add and remove elements from the set. So check to get the union of two sets, we'll be using this operator, or else we'll be using the function, the built-in function called union. Same goes with intersection. We'll be using either the intersection function or the ampersand operator. And for the difference, we'll be using the subtraction symbol, and the list goes on. So moving on to dictionaries. Dictionaries are unordered collections of key-value pairs. As we saw that keys are immutable and values are mutable, which means keys cannot be changed, but the values can be changed according to the key. So how to declare a dictionary, we have here the same flower braces, but we have a key and a value paired with a colon. So, and you declare a key within the double quotes. So here's a small example of say a person's date, say a person's information. We have collected name, and since it's a string, I've given it within the quotes. And here comes the age, the key as age, and you have its value as 30. And same goes with city, and we have it as a string. So to access any of these data, say if I want to access John or this 30 or New York, I'll be calling out their respective keys. So when I call the person's age, the value is displayed. So let us move on to how we can implement all these data types. Let us practice some questions. So the first question states that create a list of numbers and print the last element. So now to create a list, we will have to declare a variable. So say the variable name is nums, that stores numbers. And then to declare a list, we'll be having to use the square brackets. So I have added a square brackets. And now I put on the elements. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 7 elements. And now to print the last element, I have to view its index. Remember how indexing goes? Indexing starts with 0 and it ends at n minus 1. So 1 is going to be 0, 2 is going to be 1, and then this is the element that we want. So to print the last element, we will be having to use the print function and then the variable name and square bracket and its index. So done. First question done. So how do we add a new element to the list? We will be using the append function. So same, it is going to be like list name dot append. So my list name here is nums dot append, and the element that I want to append, say I want to append 8. And now to print, we'll be giving print of just nums, and we'll be getting the whole list. And what if I want to remove an element from the list? We'll be using the remove function, and with the same as the append, we'll be having nums dot remove and the element that I want to remove. Say I want to remove 4. And now if I print of nums, I'll be getting the updated list. Since list is mutable, 3 will be deleted. And moving on to tuples, say in tuple we have on how to create a tuple with names of 4 seasons and print the 3rd season. So how to create a tuple? Say I'm going to name it as seasons. The variable is going to be seasons, and to declare a tuple we will be using the parenthesis. So it's going to be like spring and winter. So done. I've declared a tuple. And then to print the 3rd season, same as the list, we will have to address the index. So this is going to be 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So it is going to be like print of seasons, same square bracket, and we're going to give 2. So whenever we are going to address, say if you want to say that this is the index number that I want to pass, we'll be using square brackets. And as we know, list and tuples are sequenced, ordered as in sequence and order are same. So these data types will be saving in continuous address numbers. That is why we are able to retrieve the data faster just by calling the index. And then moving on to the second question. We done this. So moving on to the second question, try to modify one of the seasons. So let us give a try to it. Say I want to add fine. I want to remove something. No, I want to add something. Say if I give seasons dot append, I want to give apple. This will not work because tuples are immutable. So they once declared, this data cannot be changed. That's why we wanted to try if it is giving an error. We'll sure be seeing how it runs as a program. Create a tuple of numbers and find the length of the tuple. And to find the length of the tuple, we'll be using the length function. And say you create a tuple of numbers. Yet again, we are going to use nums. And now I'm going to declare it as a tuple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now to find the length, I'll be using len of nums. Say if I want to store this into another variable and I want to print, say I store it in L, now I can print L. Or you can directly give it as print len of nums. And then don't forget to close. So done. We've also seen how to find the length of tuple, and then now we're moving to the set. How to create a set? We know that to create a set, we'll be using the flower braces of the curly braces. So looking on, say I want to have 5 prime numbers. So I declare the variable as prime. I'm going to give it as prime, and then it is going to be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. And print the set. To print the set, we are just going to print of prime. And done. So I had a prime number that is already in set. And how does the set change? Like, it is not supposed to change because the value is getting repeated. Say if I want to add an element in the set, we'll be using the add function. Say I'm giving prime dot add of 2. This set will not be changing. It is going to be it will remain same even if you were trying to print it again after adding the 2, because set consists of only unique elements. Moving on to the third, create another set with 5 even numbers and find the intersection between the two sets. Say even is my another set. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And now to find the intersection, we'll be using the AND operator. Prime and even. Or we'll be having to use the intersection function. Moving on to dictionary, we have create a dictionary with information about your favorite book. So how do you create a dictionary? Dictionary consists of key value pairs. Say these are your keys that is mentioned here, and your values are going to be the data that you store. So say I want book is my variable and it goes in curly braces, and I'm going to give key within quotes, title, colon, and the name as say C++ within quotes because it's a string. And then the author, so maybe C. Again, is a string, so we are using the double quotes. And then the year, say some 2018. And done. So we have created a dictionary, and to print this dictionary, say the title, I'll be having to address the key if I want to print the value. So it is going to be book of title inside the print function. And the second one is going to be change the author of the book to a different author and print the updated dictionary. To change the author, we will be addressing to the key and we will assign it to a new value. Say book of author equal to, I'll be assigning a new author, so DEF say. And now if I'm giving print of book, the value for author will be replaced with DEF. So let us try and implement all these codes and look and check if all these codes are working. Starting with the first question where we made a list and we printed the last element. Say my list name is nums and I'm going to declare it within the square 7. So to print the last element, I can give it like print or nums and then square bracket. I'm going to give the index of it, which is 6, and I can close. There is another method where we can print it from the reverse. Say you identify this as -1, which we will be looking at. Which we will be looking at it in detail at the data structures part. And then moving on to the second one where you add a new element to the existing list, say nums.10 or I want to add 8 now, and then print of nums. Now as you can see, we have added a new element 8. Since list is mutable, we can add, delete or do any type of operations with that. And moving on to how we delete an element from the list, we can either use remove or the delete function. Say the remove function is what we use now. Nums dot remove of 3 into nums. Now the element 3 is removed from the list. Moving on to the tuple questions. Tuple where we create a tuple and then we try to modify it. Let's see how it goes. Say I want to create now tuples called seasons. We declare it within the parenthesis and it goes by and window. Now if I print, it's going to be like, let's do this. So it is good to go. Let us now move and check if we are able to edit this tuple. So I want to add seasons.append. So we have got an attribute error that says tuple object has no attribute append. Like you cannot perform any add or delete functions in the tuple. Say if you even want to check if you can remove, say summer, you cannot remove summer either. There is no changing of the data once you declare it. So now if I want to access any particular element, say if I want to access autumn from the tuple, I can give it like print of seasons of, and I give 3, it prints winter. Because it starts from 0, 1, 2, and 3 is winter, and I give 3. So if I want to check autumn, I have to give 2. And moving on with the next question of how to check the length of the tuple. So we were using the len function. So len of seasons. We've got the answer. The length is 4. And even if you want to check the length of nums, len of nums. We've got 7. Nums, you have declared it from 1 to 7, and the length is also visible. Next, we have on list is set. So what and all operations can we do on set? So the first question that we had was to create a set with 5 prime numbers and print the set. So let us start with that. Prime equal to, since we wrote it's supposed to be in a flower braces, I've declared it with the flower braces. So giving 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. And now if I print, we've got the set. And to add another number in set, I'm going to use the add function. Say prime dot add. Say I want to add some 30. And now if you try to print prime, you've got 30. And the next online we have is to create another set and check if you have any intersection possible. Say you create a set called even. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And now you're going to give intersection function. So prime dot intersection of. The function that we've used here is intersection, and we are going to try giving even. You have only one element, so that is also being proper. So let us try if we get the output if we use the AND operator and even. We still get the output. And moving on to the dictionary part, we have yet another few questions. Say how to create a dictionary. Trying to implement that, you put the same curly braces and the key as title, and the value as I think C++, and then the comma separator. Then you give another author key. You have ABC going in here. Year of publishing. Here is this number, so yeah. So if I'm going to print of book, we've got the key It's value, and key and value. We were supposed to try to change the author name to something else. Say if I want to change particular ABC, we did some logic over there. So let us try it here. Say book of title author. Now that you can see that the author name has been changed. And what if I want to access just any one data? Say I want to know which year it got published. So how do we do that? Book, say print of book of year. We've got the year. So as far as today, we've did the implementation of the list, string, tuple, the dictionary. We have seen the difference between list and tuples. We've also come across the set operations, and we've added and deleted elements from all of the mutable data types. And we have also seen how and why tuple is immutable.